Yet another thing. Cursed memories. It is a thing with a narcissist to try to take control of a situation. If they find out you don't want to do something, they force you into doing it, so they feel control. It is a thing with them. They love control. That is all they care about. In all the times to be and all the things that will come, anybody that sided with Blondie in this, I think eventually will see what he really is. Because he only cares about control. Authoritarian, stupid, retarded control. And this kind of explains why every dumb son of a bitch I've ever come across has had an obsession with trying to control me and failed. And as they fail, they just double down, double down, double down. And when it gets bad, it gets worse. But I want to talk about the weirdest form of control I ran into. And it anal eating mummy god, Blondie, Stu. Every dumb son of a bitch is guilty of this. The ADHD brain doesn't develop until later. And when I spoke to Anal Eating Mummy God, I kept telling him my uncle said that they're all going to try to stop me from maturing. The dark ones are going to try to stop me from maturing because they're terrified of me. They're the dark ones. They're the evil ones. They're the bastards. And he said, like, well, what are they afraid of? And I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't. Because it was my subconscious talking about it. I believe from watching an ADHD video, I have stumbled upon what I was talking about. The ADHD brain doesn't mature. It doesn't mature until you're in your 30s. And I want to talk about this because my reading comprehension has suddenly got a lot better. I can comprehend things without getting a fever or an extreme headache or getting really pissed off because I can't understand it. And this feeds back to the Republican retarded teacher that was like, he's lazy, he's lazy. Now we're going to talk about how to teach these people because the way they understand things and the way I want them taught because it's the only way they can understand things. Remember, they don't have empathy. They don't have guilt or remorse. So they can't actually understand cruelty unless the cruelty is done to them. So we're going to discuss that. What I would want for them to understand what was going on with my brain and the reason I couldn't figure out pro se is because my brain wasn't developed enough to actually comprehend it. The ADHD brain physically and the prefrontal cortex in the front of the brain is completely understimulated. It doesn't have the neuron activity. I used to talk about this when I was in the special ed room. When I was reading something, it felt like somebody suddenly punched me in the head and I'd just get knocked out of it. And Anal Eating Mummy God was like, well, the problem is you're a narcissist and you made that up so that they have to read it to you. No, I didn't make that up. That is an actual thing that happens with the ADHD brain because it can't focus. That's why I have to take so much Choline. And these people made sure I have to take even more Choline because they gave me malabsorption. And it is kind of funny that this entire situation went to shit. But also, it all loops back to these people's actions. And we're going to talk about how it loops back to their actions. I told Anal Eating Mummy God I was terrified to fucking represent myself in court because it would be stupid. To which he goes, I'm going to make you do it. Because he has control issues. It's not about responsibility. It's disguised as responsibility. It's control. He wants control. He wants to force me to do something I don't want to do. But part of that shit is I knew my brain didn't work. I put all my friends in prison the last time I went to court. I did. And I did that because my brain didn't work. And then he's like, I'm going to make you do it after you fucked everything up. Anal Eating Mummy God is a 2-year-old, the same way Blondie is a 2-year-old, okay? They are all the same person, and I realize that now because, you see, the other side of my ADHD brain, a bunch of other mistakes I actually made were because my brain hadn't reached maturity. And it sounds bad to say, oh, my brain wasn't mature, therefore I made a bunch of immature decisions, but that is a fact of life. Okay, this entire situation was extremely stupid because do you know what really slows down the maturing of the ADHD brain? I'll give you a clue. It's heavy metals. It makes it worse. And I was poisoned with an exorbitant amount of heavy metals. And you guys made it worse. Okay? Holy shit. Like, I could have achieved this brain I have now. I might have been able to figure out Pro Se with this fucking brain. Okay? You people stole that from me. And then you were like, he's underperforming because you fucked me up. The equivalence of this would be if you had a dumbass who filled their car engine with fucking Coca-Cola. And then they were like, it's not driving fast because you put Coca-Cola in the engine. You stupid fuck. You stupid fuck. But I want to talk about how to teach. You're a malignant narcissist church leader. And once again, these people are supposed to have integrity, and I sure hope they do, because they promised me another wish. I would sure hate to assume that a filthy, disgusting member of this church doesn't have integrity because you don't give me that wish you owe me. You know, they're like, I want him to wish for something that doesn't fucking get us killed. I'm going to wish for something that gets you all killed. So, how to teach your church leader about cruelty. Cut their eyes out of their head, and this could be an actual wish. I want every church leader to have their eyes removed from their head, and then I want you to put a book in front of them, and then keep telling them to read the book. And when they make an excuse like, I don't have eyes, I can't see, you have no agency in what you did. You just go, read it, read it, read it, quit being lazy, quit being stupid, and just keep doing that. And do that to Blondie until he eventually goes, every time I do that to somebody, this is how they feel. Yes. Every time you do that to somebody, that is how they feel. They feel like you tore something out of them and then were screaming, use it, when they didn't have it. Because you stole it, you bastard. This is the problem when you remove accountability and agency from a person's mind. And this feeds into this entire stupid fucking situation, by the way. And I remember talking about this. The anal eating mummy god was like, oh, well, this guy, who's me, I was like, and I spoke about this, I was like, has this guy just been dealing with narcissists his entire life, and now their antisocial manipulative bullshit doesn't work on him, and you guys, because you're going to try to prove that you're superior to any other filthy, disgusting narcissist, you're going to manipulate this guy, you're going to be the ones that force this guy into doing what you want him to? And I remembered this kind of like static noise that came from him where he went, and I think that's the truth because my subconscious mind is rigged that hard against being manipulated. Because my parents did it their entire lives. My sister does it now, believe it or not. Nothing's ever fucking changed, and I'm fucking tired of these disgusting fucking narcissists and their disgusting fucking ways. And I'm tired of the projection onto me, by the way. Because let's talk about this projection. Anal eating mummy god goes, you're a narcissist, so you made up having a mental disorder to get other people to do the work for you. Or, I have ADHD, my brain's underdeveloped, and it simply can't comprehend it. Both of these narratives work, but only one of these narratives is true. And I'm going to go with the ADHD thing, by the way. Because I have to take Choline, and because when I take Choline, I become more focused. I become extremely hyper-focused. In fact, I become almost as hyper-focused as I am about things about this stupid fucking church. But I just don't get it, because this is my highest self. If you were to give me a test right now, I would probably pass it, differently than what I would when I was retarded on heavy metals. It's only these people that think being retarded on heavy metals is amazing, by the way. And I would argue if you gave them chelation therapy and they found out how amazing it feels not to have heavy metals in your brain, they would love it. Outside of the malignant narcissist church leaders who are retarded from heavy metals, they couldn't. Once again, if this was my country, we would scan your brain, and when your brain scan came back, because you can literally tell heavy metal poisoning, you would be labeled a retard. Not autistic, a retard. And then you would be forced to work subpar jobs, and you would never be given anything. But another thing I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to talk about in another video, is Carl Jung on the emotionally stunted. Because me and Carl Jung 100% agree on the emotionally stunted. Yeah. I'm sad that my entire life I've been struggling with this invisible thing that was inside my head, my brain itself. And the truth is about it, was I had I had some form. I don't even believe it's fully ADHD, by the way. I believe I have some form of spectrum disorder. ADHD spectrum disorder. That's what I'm going to call it, because there are just certain things that about ADHD people that I simply don't have. Yeah. Oh, the filthy, disgusting bastards in this church are going to be like, he's a narcissist! That's why he was doing that! But the other side of this is in the victim brain. When they're trying to manipulate you into doing something and you're not doing it, it turns into a, you're doing this despite me, maybe. Or maybe you just shouldn't be in control. Think about your behavior. You need to feel something. You need to feel some sense of control over things. External locus of control. It is an external locus of control, and we know that's a mental disorder. We know that's a mental disorder. Yeah. So I think that's where I'm just going to leave this off.